Hey guys, it's Kevin again, and in this video I'm going to review the final movie of the 4 movies that I watched, and the final movie is Oz the Great and Powerful. Now, when I saw the trailer for this movie, I thought it was an amazing concept because I'm sure all of us, like Wicked, we know how the witch became bad, but we don't really know how the wizard became the wizard. And so in this movie, they were finally going to uncover that, and I saw the trailer, and I thought it was so great because it paid a lot of homage to the original movie. And I really, really love that. I gotta say that after watching it, this, out of all the movies I've seen of 2013, is my favorite. It's definitely going to be in my top 10 of 2013. I'm not going to say it's my favorite, like it's going to be my favorite, nothing else can surpass it. But out of these 4 movies, this one surpassed them all. It was amazing. It paid a lot of homage to the original 1935 movie with Judy Garland, which, by the way, Judy Garland is my favorite actress of all time. I just think she's so great, and I love that movie. I have that movie, too. Of course, who doesn't have The Wizard of Oz? But this paid a lot of homage to that, and the one thing I like about, though, is that it's a completely different movie from The Wizard of Oz. It's not trying to be like The Wizard of Oz. Though it has certain elements, I found it to be a lot more thrilling. And the one thing that people compared it to, which I think is ridiculous, is Alice in Wonderland. Here's what I'm going to tell you right now. I hated that movie. I hated Alice in Wonderland because that was very dark. It was not really for kids. It was meant more for adults. There wasn't anything very silly in there. There wasn't anything very fun in there. It just was a very dark movie. And with this, though, they have a lot of comic moments, but they also have a lot of really dramatic moments, and it has a lot of really good storytelling and some really great new characters that we meet. So the basic plot of this is James Franco plays Oscar Diggs, who is this small-time magician, and he's not really a magician. He's kind of just a fraud. He's kind of just doing it for money. And, well, there's this girl who's in a wheelchair, and she says, well, can you help me walk? And everybody wants him to. And in those days, they didn't really know things about, like, illusions and things like that, because it's, like, 1904. And by the way, keep in mind, the movie was black and white, and I thought that was great because the original Wizard of Oz, that's how it was, and I thought that was great that they did that, because it really... Also, 1904 is 6 years before the first book, The Wizard of Oz, was made. I think that was really cool, too, how they set that up. I thought that was really cool. But yeah, he pretty much is this fraud magician, and nobody really cared, you know... Everybody, you know, they're like, make the girl walk, and when he says, no, I can't do that, they throw stuff at him, and his career is pretty much over. And then there's this girl played by Michelle Williams who he really likes, but the problem is that she has a husband, and the husband goes after him, and then there's this terrible storm, he gets caught in the hot air balloon, and he ends up in Oz. And the story is how he becomes the Wizard of Oz. And, you know, it's kind of the same thing where everybody there thought he was like a miracle worker, and here he really is a miracle worker. And he kind of also finds out how to be a better person, because, I mean, it wasn't that he wasn't a bad person, but he was doing it all for money. He didn't really care. You know, he wanted to help out the little girl, but he was doing it all for money, really, and he could have just said, I'm not really a real magician. He could have just said that to them, and he didn't say that. But in this movie, he meets 3 witches. Now, the first witch he meets is Theodora, played by Mila Kunis. Then he meets, I think her name is Evadora, and then he meets Glinda, who we all know. And, yeah, so I really, really liked it. And some of the things I really, really loved about it was that, one, it has some new characters that we're new to. We have this monkey who goes by the name of, what's his name? Oh my god. What's his name? I can't think of the monkey's name right now, but the monkey played by Zach Braff was really great, I think, comic relief. Like, there wasn't much comic relief in Alice in Wonderland. That was a problem with it. There's a lot of comic relief in this. And the monkey really does do a great job with that, Zach Braff. Finley, he's this monkey, but he's also very funny. And he kind of is very Disney, and I could see why Disney did this movie. And I thought that was really great. And I like that even though The Wizard of Oz was made by 20th Century Fox, and this was made by Disney, that they didn't try to not be like The Wizard of Oz. They didn't try to make this a completely different story, which they kind of did. They changed the names of some of the witches, which I will get to. But then the other character I liked was the China doll, because the China doll is supposed to be the girl in the wheelchair. That's the girl in the wheelchair, and here she's a China doll, and he is able to fix her because she's broken, and he fixes her. He puts her back together. So here, that is how he put the girl in the wheelchair back together, and I thought that was really, really great. So now I'm getting into the performances, but in order for me to do that, I have to talk spoilers. So, and this movie has major spoilers. Even if you know the story of The Wizard of Oz, this is a completely different movie. So, if you have not seen Oz the Great and Powerful, trust me, do not watch the rest of this video. This movie has major, major plot twists and cliffhangers, and that's part of the reason why it's so good. And if you haven't seen Oz the Great and Powerful, don't watch the rest of this review. I'm just going to say that right now. So, the first thing I want to talk about, of course, is who ended up being the Wicked Witch of the West. It was not the person I thought it was going to be. From this cover, it looks like Rachel Weisz's character, Evador. Is that her name? Evador? No. Evanora. It looks like Evanora is going to be the Wicked Witch of the West, just from this picture. It looks like she's going to end up being the Wicked Witch of the West. I did not expect for Theodora to turn into the Wicked Witch of the West, when Evanora gave her that, that potion, not the potion, but the apple that turned her into the Wicked Witch of the West. That was brilliant, because I like that they didn't stick by the Wicked story, because Wicked is its own thing, and I like that they did that, because I thought that was really, really good, the way they did that. And now, in order for me to, so now we're getting into the performances. James Franco was perfect as the wizard. I thought he was great. Honestly, he was the perfect person to play the wizard. He's charming, he's funny, he's very charismatic, I think, as the wizard. He knows exactly what he wants. The wizard is very formal, he's a very nice person, everybody loves him. And you definitely felt like this is the guy who is the wizard. You felt like he's the wizard, and I really liked that. And then the other person I really liked, of course, was Mila Kunis, who I thought was great when she became the Wicked Witch of the West. When she at first was Theodora in the beginning, I thought she was very dry. I didn't like her in the beginning as her character. But then as it went on, with him meeting up with Glinda and kind of falling in love with her, because she's supposed to represent the girl he meets in the beginning who already had somebody. That's Glinda. And they fall in love. And Evanora gives Theodora the apple, which turns her into the Wicked Witch of the West. I thought she was great. Honestly, she was really, really good. And I just thought that Mila Kunis really was great in this. But I thought the real standout, in my opinion, was Rachel Weisz as Evanora. She was so good in this role. Honestly, her storyline was so cool, especially the thing with the whole necklace, and then when she took it off, she turned into a hideous creature, and how Glinda and her ended up in the fight. I thought that was really great, and I liked that the main villain was not the Wicked Witch of the West. I like that a lot, because, in The Wizard of Oz, who do you think is the main villain? The Wicked Witch of the West. In this, it's the Wicked Witch of the East, and I like that. I like that Evanora is the Wicked Witch of the East. And that's really cool, and I also like that they changed up the names. It's not Elphaba, it's Theodora. And I like that, because, it's definitely very different from the story we all know. It's definitely very different. But I like that. I like that it's very different. The other person who I really loved, and I've always loved this guy, is, what's his name? Tony Cox. Tony Cox's Nuck was really great. He's very funny. He's funny in every role he's in. I've always loved Tony Cox. I've loved him in all the spoof movies like Date Movie, Epic Movie, and Disaster Movie. I thought he was great in all three of those. And he's very good in this. He has a very good part in this. He's not in it a lot, but he's funny in it. And, his character's always somewhat funny. So I liked his character. I liked that he had some comic relief as well. And the biggest reveal, I liked how they did the thing with the wizard's head. How he found out the only way to defeat the witches is to do the thing with his head. You know, I am Oz, the great and powerful Oz. You know, like in the movie? That's why he does the head. I thought that was incredible, the way we found that out. I thought that was great, honestly. And that was really, really cool. Not really something I was expecting. And I also liked how we found out how Glinda travels in bubbles. We saw how she travels in bubbles and how that's her way of flying pretty much, and how she let the wizard fly in bubbles. And I thought that was great. And I also loved, of course, that Glinda and the wizard did fall in love. I did like that we had a little story, like love story with that. And I felt really bad for Theodora, though, because, I mean, she really loved the wizard, and now she's the Wicked Witch of the West. You can definitely tell that there's going to be a sequel to this after that, because, I mean, they still have to defeat the Wicked Witch of the West. She's still out there. She's still roaming the world. I mean, she's not completely defeated. They still have to defeat her. And, even though Nora is dead, Theodora is still roaming Oz as the Wicked Witch of the West. And I really like that. I like that this was its own thing. And I just thought it was a really, really great movie. It's a perfect movie for kids, although I wouldn't recommend you bring really young kids, because this movie could scare them. Like the second half of this movie, it could scare them. The first half gets very comical, much more like the Wizard of Oz, with them just touring different rooms. That's a lot like the Wizard of Oz, but then becomes nothing like the Wizard of Oz, and I really did like that. So this movie was really, really great. I just really, really loved it. So let me know what you guys thought of Oz the Great and Powerful. Did you like that it was its own story and that it didn't try to be like The Wizard of Oz or Wicked, and that was pretty much its own story? Let me know what you thought of all the performances. I thought all three witches were great, including James Franco. I also thought Zach Braff was great. He had such great comedic timing. He was very funny. Out of these four movies, Warm Bodies, Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters, Identity Thief, and Oz the Great and Powerful, which one was your favorite? In my opinion, I would rate them as Oz the Great and Powerful #1, Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters #2, Warm Bodies #3, and Identity Thief #4. That's just how I liked them the most. Of course, this one definitely is the most enjoyable, and I recommend it for everyone. That's it for my review. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in the next video. Okay, bye!